Article written and read by Maria at mariairving.com. Gain new insight and awareness about yourself and the people closest to you. Here's over 40 questions that will help you become aware of important things about yourself, your life, and your relationships. Ask the questions deeply, not just with your head, but with your heart, and be totally honest with yourself. Let the answers reveal to you what you need to know and what you need to become aware of. I suggest that you write them down in your journal or a piece of paper and ponder the questions as you ask them. I'm going to read these questions one by one and give a little bit of space so that you can have some thoughts coming up or some answers maybe, hopefully. So let's begin. What one word would you describe yourself as? What one word would you describe yourself as if it was something negative? What would a negative description be, if anything, according to your own opinion and observation? What one word would your best friend describe you as? And what one word would your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, what would they describe you as with one word? And what one word would your family describe you as? What one word would the closest person you work with describe you as? It could be your boss or a client or a customer, for example. What's the first word that comes to mind on each of these people or a group of people? And what one thing would you wish they would see in you or about you? What would you wish that your best friend saw in you or about you? Or your romantic partner or love partner? Or your family or a work-related relationship you have, a person at your workplace or something like that. What would you wish they would see in you and about you? What one word would you describe what one word would you use to describe your best friend as? And what one word would you describe your family as? And what one word would you describe your team or closest partner that you have in work or business? What one word would you describe them as? And what behavioral patterns or dynamics are you seeing that needs to change in these relationships? Write the things down in each category, like for example your best friend, or a friends group, or a romantic relationship you might have, or a family, or work-related relationships. What behavior patterns and dynamics are you seeing that needs to change in these relationships? What are the 3 top toxic or unhealthy patterns that you're noticing? What comes up as you write down the answers on these questions? What do you need to walk away from? Or what boundaries do you need to set in place or clarify or redefine in order to change the unhealthy dynamics or the behavior patterns? And maybe you feel judged or disrespected by some of the people in your life, or maybe you feel stifled and unable to fully express who you are, or maybe you feel that you always have to shrink and make yourself small or something like that when you're with certain people. Write down all these things and think about what boundaries do you need to set in place or clarify, or what do you just need to walk away from? What needs to change? I heard Jane Fonda say something the other day that really resonated with me when she was talking about what to look for in a relationship. And she said, I want to feel safe, seen, and cherished. And I love that. I mean, yes to feeling safe. Trust is incredibly important. You want to feel safe in a relationship that way. It's so important. But you also want to be seen and heard and cherished, just like you cherish them back and make them feel safe and seen in the relationship too. So it's all about mutual respect and about genuinely caring for each other. It's so important. Next, fill in the blank or finish these sentences. And some of the questions are similar to the previous ones, but see what comes up when you ask them again. It's in a slightly different and more elaborate way. So fill in the blank or finish these sentences. My close friends describe me as. My family describes me as. Strangers describe me as. I think I'm really good at. I think I'm bad at. My friends and people I know think I'm good at. The last lie I told someone was about. And have I made any recent decisions out of fear? The answers to the last two questions about if you have the last lie you told someone, what it was about, and if you have made any recent decisions out of fear, can reveal insecurities that you need to work on within yourself. And the questions about the negative things about yourself is only to shine light on where you could improve or develop something about yourself that could benefit you. So it has nothing to do with like judging or anything like that. It's only that many times we're not aware of these things until we actually ask ourselves the questions. Moving on. Finish these sentences. The best advice I have ever received is, I could talk about, fill in the blank, for hours on end. What could you talk about for hours on end? The answer can reveal what you're truly passionate about. If you're, for example, unsure of what your purpose or next assignment in life is, then look at what could you talk about for hours on end. What needs to end or be removed from your life? What's dead or over? What are you done with? What cycle has come to an end? What needs to you're done. Write down what comes up without editing yourself. Be totally honest with yourself. What needs to stop? Or what do you need to stop doing? What needs to start? What do you need to start doing? And what do you need to do less of? And what do you need to do more of? What do I need to allow to happen? It can be about some kind of change that you're afraid of, or you're afraid of instigating or making something, a change or transformation or something like that, that you know you would benefit from doing. But it could also be about letting yourself be helped by someone, or allowing someone to love you, or allowing yourself to receive something from another person. Sometimes we have to open ourselves up more to what wants to happen and what wants to come into our life. So what do you need to be more open to? What do you need to be more open to? Next. What negative things am I saying to myself on a daily basis? What negative things am I saying about myself? What negative things am I saying about other people? What negative things am I saying about life? Your inner being will tell you if you just listen within, and many times it has to do with things we complain about. What are the 3 most prominent things that you're becoming aware of as you ask these questions? What patterns are you becoming aware of? What programming or conditioning or pattern in you needs to break or be released? What are you becoming aware of? Next. Here's a few funny but also very revealing questions that will help you cement the revelations and insights that you needed from this exercise today. They will help you get and see everything from an even wider and different point of view and perspective. So here's the questions. If you were a fly on the ceiling looking at your life and situation, what strikes you really funny or surprising? If your pet could talk, from his position, what would he say about your life and situation? It could be about your relationship with a certain person, for example. What would your pet say about that? And what else would your pet say that you might not have thought about before or even considered or been aware of previously? And it can be about anything. Let the answers flow through you. What comes up for you? And lastly, here's 2 more questions that will help shine light on things about yourself that you might not have thought about before or which you would benefit from becoming aware of, or they're just fun to ask. Describe the rest of your life in 5 words. And what would you like the movie about your life be called?